help because this is Cardinal Film Fights, and what we'd like to do here is fight. Like to fight about some films, and that's what we're going to do today. We're talking about the best trilogy, the best film trilogy. And I have here with me some folks from the Cardinal Film Fights, and I'll let them introduce themselves because I don't know them that well on a deep personal level, and I feel like we're going to get there tonight. So if you'd like to start over here.
So, my name is Christian Totten. I'll warn you now, they will lie and cheat. I'll try to stop them, but I can only do so much.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm Ethan Evans. I work here for Cardinal Film Fights. I'm in TCOM, and I'm excited to watch Christian lose repeatedly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Keith Wilson, and just ready to kick some butt tonight. I got some good notes here, and I'm looking forward to winning.
They're all too confident for my liking, so we'll fix that later. But we're going to do this how you guys, I hope, know how this works. You have 1 minute to introduce your topic.
Yeah.
5 minutes to fight it, 30 seconds to conclude it. And if we can get 1 minute on the clock, let's just get right into this, get into the introduction, starting at the opposite end and working our way back.
You got it. All right, so for my best trilogy, I chose the original Indiana Jones movies. I mean, they're classics, they're originals. They are the definition of adventure movies. Indiana Jones is one of the most iconic movie characters just in history. I mean, he's played by Harrison Ford. You know Indiana Jones for so many different things. His theme song, his whip, a lot of really cool scenes that happen in the movie. Each movie itself contains a different story. They go on a different adventure, and you get to meet different characters, and it's really just cool to explore him as a person, and then also grow with him and see how his life changes based on each movie. And then, so I don't know. I think they've well withstand the test of time, and they're a good family movie and just adventure movie for people to sit down and watch anytime. So yeah.
All right. I chose Lord of the Rings for my trilogy. I feel like they started with an amazing cast and amazing story. The overarching plot of the trilogy itself is one of the best fantasy stories that's ever been told, and each individual film fills in with its own plots incredibly well. Again, the cast plays out some fantastic characters that you really get to know throughout. They do an amazing job with action. They do an amazing job with the VFX for the time. The trilogy overall performed incredibly well. And as far as trilogies go, it together is better than the sum of its parts. As a whole, the trilogy stands out much better than other trilogies.
So I decided to go a little bit different. We went with The Matrix, which almost 20 years old at this point, and still has better special effects than Justice League. So there's always that. And it's unique. The action pieces, they're just amazing. Everyone knows Neo dodging all the bullets or just becoming the one and catching the bullets that the special agents shoot at him. Obviously, played by Keanu Reeves, the best actor that's ever lived. Everyone loves him. You have Hugo Weaving, a great actor, great villain for the movie. You have Morpheus, who is one of the coolest characters that's ever been in a movie. The way that he's just set up as a cool character that knows what to do in every situation, it just really sets up a good mentor.
Just one question. Why did nobody do Toy Story?
Not a trilogy.
Damn it. I always forget that. They went and ruined the fact that they were one of the best trilogies that existed.
Yeah.
And I just forgot that I went and saw that movie this summer. So
wow.
I'm sorry, Toy Story
Must have been
4.
great.
That's on me. But if we can get 5 minutes on the clock, I think you're all holding back a lot of violence right now. And I just like to see that come through in the debate. So I see the pain in your eyes. Give it to them.
Okay.
All right.
You good?
Can we start? All right. So can we start with the CGI comment that was made?
Yeah.
Have you seen The Matrix 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to...
Have you seen Henry Cavill's mustache?
Yeah.
I didn't realize Justice League was part of this fight.
It's
Also-
not.
Yeah. Also,
clarify.
I didn't realize that we were just coming out here to like list off characters, because that seems to be all Christian came prepared with for his Matrix trilogy.
I was listing great characters, which you also listed Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones too.
Yes. Also, I don't know how Keanu Reeves can be the best actor of all time when Harrison Ford is alive. I don't know what's up with that.
That's fairly true. Harrison Ford does have better roles, but I would say honestly, you have people. Viggo Mortensen playing Aragorn itself has more emotion and depth than at least Harrison Ford and as Indiana Jones.
The emotion
There's
that
no
he
depth.
couldn't get without actually breaking his own toe because he's not a good enough actor.
Is that okay? This is interesting. So you have Keanu Reeves as you state that Keanu Reeves. Are you saying that he's like the selling point of that trilogy? Is Keanu Reeves the
He's
best
not
actor
the
of all
selling
time?
point, but he is one of the best parts of that movie.
Which one?
All three of them.
All three of them?
Yeah.
Because he's very important in the first, but in the second and the third, if you've seen those movies, he really fails to deliver anything interesting, and that's not directly his fault. However, it is the writing.
I'll say his fight scene against the clones of Hugo Weaving in second
Is
movie,
one of the worst bits of CGI
Yeah,
I've
it's
ever
pretty
seen
cringy
in
to
my
watch.
entire life.
but also one of the best choreography that I've seen at a fight.
Also, can we
just-
go back to when you said that Loader was had one of the best fantasy stories? Yeah, that's very cool. That
Yep.
it beat out like The Hobbit and stuff like that in terms of fantasy movies. But I
Yeah,
kind of
it
went for
beat
more
itself.
like best movies, like just in general. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
overall.
well, the plot itself does hold up against most stories. If we're looking at trilogies here, Lord of the Rings is a trilogy that really forms together around one plot, whereas you run into a story like Indiana Jones, where it's three completely separate movies that seem to forget that the others exist really at times, and then don't really have an overarching plot, and there's no real interaction between them. There's characters that are missing from other films.
Yeah, it's
and-
because he went on to do other things. Like he's an adventurer. He goes out.
What's
and
the
he does
time
stuff.
difference between the Indiana Jones
The
films?
time difference for the first two movies is just 1 year. Temple of Doom is a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then there's a 5-year jump, I believe, to The Last Crusade.
Okay.
Yeah. So it really explores him. You get to see a lot of his past in The Last Crusade. In that movie, you also get to see his father, played by Sean Connery. So I mean, if you're gonna have a dad, it might as well be one of the James Bonds. So he's pretty cool in the movie. No big
Yeah.
deal.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, they're short enough that you kind of just watch it in a night. You can watch one and then be done if you want to. You don't need to kind of sit there.
Right. So
and-
they make for great individual movies. But as far as a trilogy goes, do you think that they really support each other in a way?
Well, I can get through them without like falling asleep. So it's kind of where I kind of go on that one.
Okay.
They also have a lot of just pure like iconic scenes in the Indiana Jones movies. There's the scene where Indiana Jones is kind of tired. This guy comes out, whips his sword around a whole bunch, and then he just pulls the gun on him and shoots him. Pretty
Oh,
iconic,
right. When
yeah.
he like improv'd that because
'Cause,
Harrison Ford's too lazy to try and act in that weather.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Did
It
you know?
seems like,
You want to argue
Loader
that
has made
scene
a
versus
lot
Lord of the Rings, where you
where
have
they do a
Gandalf
bunch of
standing
improv,
in the
so.
bridge in front of the Balrog, and is instantly one of the most like iconic and contrasting scenes of all time.
Yeah.
Just
If you want
period.
a memorable scene, everyone knows the scene of Morpheus holding the red and blue pill. It's
'Cause
even
it's a
become
meme.
a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It's still a great scene and had some social commentary.
I also want to say that Indiana Jones is defined by also their great theme song. I mean, it's one of those out there. You start hearing the theme song. Everyone knows what
Does
that
have a
is.
great
It
theme.
comes up every out.
I would say that the whole entire score of Lord of the Rings really holds up much better as far as an entire orchestral score. Really does a much better job, and I would say that you see the awards that they won for that versus the awards that they won for the Indiana Jones theme.
Yeah.
Really.
Fun fact, Matrix, the song that gets played at the beginning of each
That was a cool fact.
That was a good one.
I'll let you finish your fact. Just
Oh.
kinda,
The song that's played at the beginning of each Matrix movie moves up a note with each movie.
It's like it's whinier.
When
Yeah,
did
it
the
just
fun
goes
part?
up.
When did the fun part come in?
It will when you leave the room.
That's actually kind of good.
well, you know what? That was worth the extension for the quips there. Thank you. Always making our show better. Now we have 30 seconds for conclusions. As always, my mind's not made up yet. You have 30 seconds to change it, and I will take everything from your conclusion into very serious consideration. So don't waste it, please.
You got it.
Starting over here, moving over.
So, Matrix obviously is a great movie, and in 2012 was selected by the U.S. Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry Archives. You know how great your movie has to be preserved in the U.S. archives? It has to be pretty great.
Actually, don't. Can you explain to me?
Can you please explain to us? That sounds like you screenshot a picture of an IMDb fun fact.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Good 30 seconds.
So for Lord of the Rings, if you want to argue that, you can of course go to the fact that they were nominated for Best Picture and the third one won Best Picture. I feel like the score that they brought together, the overarching plot, the individual plots of each film all come together to mesh a much better trilogy instead of essentially adding on additional films where I feel like the others come from, of simply adding on more stories or trying to flesh things out. They simply told the entire story in a trilogy.
I can't take any of those last 8 words. I'm so sorry.
Yes, for Indiana Jones, while they are 3 separate movies, they each are contained, and you get to see Indy grow with the cast that he's with at the time. They're fun movies. They are funny. They're the basis of adventure, and it's just a movie that a family can sit down and watch. They talk about some of the greatest stories and artifacts in history, and so it's just kind of cool to watch him go after those things.
Did he win?
Oh, no. Oh. Yeah, I'd like to check the facts, not because anyone scoffed or made any noise.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have gotten information that speaking on Harrison Ford's lazy acting in that scene mentioned, he actually had lupus and mono at the time. There you go.
Performed the scene.
So it seemed like he
Pretty
made
sure
the
Viggo
scene a little.
Mortensen still performed the rest
And
of the
I've
scenes
also
with a
been
broken
told
toe.
Keanu Reeves is not the best actor of all time. At
Oh.
least one person thinks so.
Well, they are a liar.
Could we poll the rest of the production crew? How many people think that Keanu Reeves is the best
Please
actor?
raise your hands if you think Keanu Reeves is the best actor.
I want to get a tally.
Nobody raised their hand.
I can't really see.
That
but it looks like
is
0.
Damning evidence.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for that, I'm going to have to give you third place.
Was it really
That
just
is-
for that?
No, not at all. No, it was the rest. It was the rest of it.
He can put that in the archives.
You know, you didn't bring the strongest trilogy in,
Yeah.
and you didn't compensate where you needed to paint it as the best trilogy. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'll let you stay on here at Cardinal Film Fights if you want to. I'd understand if you wanted to leave after this.
It's
but
pretty embarrassing.
It's pretty
honestly.
embarrassing. Let's be honest. Now,
Excuse me while I go cry.
okay. That's you can do that on camera. That sells very well. And in second place, we have Indiana Jones.
Damn.
You
Sorry,
see,
bud.
It's okay.
No, it did. No, you had your notes there.
Yeah, I did.
And
Have my notes.
You spoke like you had notes, but
Mm.
there was just when you bring in when you talk about the score of Lord of the Rings, first of all, and the wonderful story, which you can't attribute all of that to the film. You've got J.R.R.T. up there. God rest his soul. Love that man. But when you're working with some of the best fantasy in the world and in any form and adapting that and it being done by Peter Jackson the way that it was done, I can't deny that as the best trilogy.
That's fair.
Thank you. I feel like I earned this.
So,
I don't
to
remember him bringing
recap,
up Peter Jackson. So it
To
seems like he
recap-
rejected a bit.
we have Christian in third place, we have Ethan in first place, and we have Keith
One second.
in second.
Okay.
This has been Cardinal Film Fights. If you like what we do here, you can like the video and subscribe even, because that's something that people do when they like something, so they can see more of it. You can find all our social medias at Card Film Fights. We do post a lot of fun stuff there. We got some behind-the-scenes photos, and we'll let you know when we're working on something new. Is there anything else that you guys would like to say?
I'm disappointed, but at least I beat the Matrix, I guess. And I feel like just you can be kind of close to Lord of the Rings. I'll take it.
It was a tough decision. All of you except for Christian. That one was pretty easy. But this has been Cardinal Film Fights. I've been Justin Branson, and these people debate.